Hello everyone, this is Obi-Wan of YouTube coming back at you again live. I wanted to do a little video here more on the features and the functions of this bike, so let's get started, shall we? Once again, this is a Giant Dirt E version number 2, large frame mountain bike. This is a hardtail with a full suspension, or excuse me, a front suspension fork. And anyway, let's start down here with the tires. It is a 27.5-inch size, 650B if you want to call it. And the original tires, I don't remember the name brand of them, but they were a 2.4 width size. I don't know exactly how they do that, but nonetheless, they were a lot wider. They were very, very fat, you might say. And I liked them actually, but what I didn't really like was how bumpy they were right here in the middle. And I wanted something, as you can see here, these really flow with each other right in the center if you're on hard pack or hard surfaces. And I knew I would be riding this more on hard surfaces and dirt roads, etc. than any place else. So I wanted least rolling resistance, so I upgraded to these tires basically. He took the other ones off and put these on brand new. They have a Kevlar protection in here. These are Bont Rager, I believe, Connection Trail tires. These are 2.0, so they are narrower, and I also went with the heavy-duty Schrader valve tubes, and I think he also even put some slime or some sort of tire sealant in there as well. I have done this with all of my other mountain bikes. I've literally put heavy-duty tubes in and slime or some sort of, you know, material in there, and literally gone through sticker patches and puncture vine patches, etc. And yeah, I've seen the stuff oozing out of the tire, but have never ever had a flat. Ever had a flat. I've come back with a little bit of a squishy tire, but I've never had a flat. So it really works for me. I realize it makes it heavier, but at the same time, I'm never walking home. And that's really important for me. So it has a Suntour XCR32 shock. As I've mentioned before in the previous video, I really miss my heavy-duty RockShox here, but at the same time, I mean, this one here is doing its job. It's doing a really good job at what I want it to do for the purpose that I'm using it for. And I believe this is 130 millimeter worth of travel. My old RockShox is only 120, but again, for what I use it for, this one works great. So it has this new single type of, I don't know, I've not seen this design before. It seems kind of handy to take it on and off. It's self-centering. It puts the wheel back in the same place every single time. So, again, it seems to be working fine. I really don't even take my tires off that often anyway, so it really doesn't affect me at all. It seems to be working. The Shimano hydraulic disc brakes are awesome. These happen to be 180 rotors front and back. I'm pretty sure the front ones here are. Okay, so yeah, I did pause the video because I was a little concerned about the front one being a 200, but it is in fact a 180 millimeter, and so is the rear. I double checked that. I knew I looked at the back one, but I never really looked at the front one, and then when I got down here, I'm like, wow, that looks a little big, but it is a 180 rotor. So yeah, 180 millimeter front and back. And so then moving on up here to the handlebar, I've mentioned before that the handlebar that was on here before was more flat and a little bit wider even, and it was kicked up like it was really out here in front. I didn't like it at all. I felt like I was really reaching. I have a flat one handlebar kind of on my other mountain bike, but it feels, I don't know, it just feels different on the way the frame of the bike fits me or whatever. So I did upgrade to a different handlebar, and I love it. It is narrower, and if I was actually on the trails, I probably want that wider bar. But again, I try to find something that brings it back to me so I'm not reaching so far. But this handlebar works great for on the street, and what I'm doing right now, much more comfortable and easier to reach. So I'm really liking that. And then, of course, the seat. I've always loved these seats right here, these gel seats. I've got one on my old bike that I have beat the crap out of. It's even got a cut on it. But the thing is, that cut never gets bigger. It never grows. So that's why I like it. That's why I keep using them, and they're not expensive at all. And I put that type of bottle holder on the vehicle as well. Bike, you know what I'm saying. And because I mean, it's almost like my vehicle now. I mean, I know it's been a while since I rode it, a week. But I've been out of town and working, so now today I'm going to go down and check and see if they got my shock seat post, and if they do, you know, I'm going to put it on. But again, instead of going down there in a car, I'm going to do it on a bike. And if you look outside, you know, it looks pretty gloomy out there. It's going to be about 40 degrees and a little bit of wind, and that's where this e-bike thing is really going to come in handy, because the wind is not really going to be able to affect me. I mean, you can just pedal right along with it, okay? So it's got a 2x9 setup, so there's 2 sprockets up here in the front. And like I said last time, I've never even used a bottom sprocket, but then again, I'm not really climbing mountains either. And the 9, I did use the full range of that baby though. I will tell you that you should still shift this thing like you would any other bike as you're riding it, even with the electrical power assist, because it makes your battery last longer if you give it a better mechanical advantage by shifting it. And you know, that's just obvious common sense right there. So and then I took off those old-fashioned metal you know, just low-cost shin busters that came with it. And I seen it had red on the bike, so I thought I'll just get some plastic red pedals. These are giant pedals too, by the way. They were just like, I don't know, I think they were 19 bucks or something. And yeah, I didn't want them other ones. They just look, I don't know, they look cheap. So I got these, and it gives it color, and it makes it look nicer and a lot cooler, I think. So all right, so now moving up here to the actual unit. I have disconnected the battery over the week while I was gone, and I plugged it in today before I started this video, and I'll turn it on now. And as you notice, it comes on in eco mode instantly, so I'm going to turn it off. And you'll see right there that we are at 51%. Now, when I unplugged the battery last week, it was 52%. So yes, the battery does drop on its own, but not by much. And I have not even charged this battery since I've owned it. The bike dealership, they charged it when they got it. I got it at 89%. And I have not yet charged this battery. I've only driven it once, and I went 21 miles. So that kind of gives you an idea. And again, where I'm at is kind of flat with some long hills and whatnot, but not really big hills. So, but there was wind last time. If you want to know, go to my video number 2, and it'll tell you all about what happened that day. So let's learn more about the controls. This happens to be a charge display. I'm going to turn on the light so that you can see it better. See? That makes it a lot better, doesn't it? That's what the light function is on this charge display. It gives you the backlight. I guess they have an EVO display. It's a little more advanced or whatever, but this one's the one I have. So, and here's the information button right here. If you push and hold that for 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there you go. We're going to change everything over to kilometers per hour, okay? And, of course, I don't really want to do that, so I'm going to move back to miles per hour. But while I'm doing that, there's also a way that you can reset your average speed and stuff. So if I hit this, just touch it once, it'll change to trip distance. And if I touch it again, it moves to trip time. See how it's moving through those cycles? That's how you do that. and you just keep doing that. You can look at cadence, you can look at your max speed, you can look at odometer, so on and so forth, okay? And then if you want to reset your average speed and your trip distance and your trip time and all that, then you take that same button and you push and hold it for 3 seconds. 5 seconds will change it from mile per hour to kilometer per hour, and 3 seconds will reset your trip time and all that other stuff. And you have to make sure that you have it on there. If you have it over here on cadence or like odometer and push it for 3 seconds, it's not going to reset it. You have to actually have it set on one of those three right here, the average speed or your trip distance or trip average speed, to be able to reset it. Okay, then these buttons right here are the ones that actually move up to your Eco Plus, your normal, your sport, and your sport plus modes. Okay, and so that's how you get to cycle through those. And then underneath here, you've got a button right there, and if you push that, it's your walk mode. So like if you have to get off and walk your bike for whatever reason, and you push that button, yeah, I believe I can try it here. It actually helps you move right. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Nope, that didn't happen. Watch. Turn it on. All right, there we go. I'm like, why isn't it doing it? Maybe I got to move it forward. Here we go. There we go. Now I can feel it taking off. Whoa, yeah, it wants to take off. So you got to be kind of careful with that because, yeah, it certainly wanted to take off there. I'm going to turn it off. There we go. We're off. So yeah, you push that button right there and it will help you walk your bike if you're, walking up a technical section that maybe you don't want to actually try to ride up or whatever. But it'll do the job. And I have tried it before. I just did it in this video. And what happened is that it does a really good job. I mean, I'm very impressed that, well, and I only did it in eco mode, I have to admit. But I'm very impressed that it doesn't like really just take off. It actually feels you walking and then it goes with you. I'm blown away by how well this system adapts to the movement that you're putting into it. If you're not putting any movement into this thing, it's not doing anything. And then when you start to walk with it or you start to pedal, it really does a great job. It does not feel unsafe at all. As far as like if you just bump it, it'll just suddenly take off on you. But once it gets going, yeah, it wants to take off. So there is that fine line of that. But otherwise, this thing is really awesome. I'm so impressed with the smart controls of it. And then also, there is a USB port right there, if you can see it. And you know what? I've read the giant book that came with this. Now, maybe I didn't get everything. I don't know, but I'm actually kind of disappointed. It doesn't explain any of that, what I can do with that. I've heard some people already telling me that this thing is hackable or something, or you could add a chip to it to make it go faster, blah, blah, blah. I'm not ready for that yet. I don't really care about that yet. I'm sure maybe someday I might, but right now I'm happy with the way it is. So, again, those are some of the features and stuff of my bike in particular. But for the most part, if you go down and buy the same thing that I buy, you're going to get a longer handlebar that's a little more flat, and you have to reach for it a little more. You're going to get wider, fatter tires from the factory. You're not going to get the bottle holder, and you're going to get some shim buster, old-fashioned, cheap-looking little pedals, which, hey, guess what? I mean, they work, right? And but just not my style. And then you're gonna get a rail for a seat, my friend. I mean, it's literally hardly any padding or anything at all. What I really like about this again is that it is very comfortable considering what it is, and but yet it's not so fat that you can't stand up and go over bumps and some minor jumps. I guess I don't really plan on jumping and all that this bike, but I do with my dual suspension, and I've got the same seat on it, and it's racy enough but yet it's also wider and comfortable enough. It's just in my mind, the perfect all-around seat. So again, I don't want to make this video go too long and bore you guys, but I just wanted to give you a rundown of the features and how they work on this thing. The only other thing I would like to say about this before we go today is, Giant, if you're listening, give us a time, give us a clock on here. That'd be really nice. I mean, I look in the owner's book and it shows something right here that is potentially able to pop up, but I've literally done everything here and read the book, and it says nothing about setting a time or anything. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I need to go online to figure out something more or whatever, but as of right now, I don't think this thing has a clock capability. I'd like to know, you know, if I want to be back at 12 o'clock or something, that I could just look down there instead of having to look at my phone or my watch. So that would be really handy. But again, maybe I'll learn something on that, or maybe one of you guys can tell me. That'd be great if you did. I mean, I'd appreciate it. Try to keep the comments kind of clean, guys. You know, I mean, after all, this is just this isn't really something that I built or anything. This is something that's out there. I happen to think it's a great thing so far, and I'll certainly give you the lowdown if something else changes. I'm going to be as honest as real gets. So I really would like you to go ahead now and subscribe and share this and like it, etc. And just spread the word, because you're going to be seeing some more videos out of this place. Okay? Hope you enjoy it. Come on back. We'll talk some more, baby. Let's see ya. Bye.